Guys, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the GX4 from Taurus. I've actually disassembled the gun. I got it back from shooting and I took it apart just to see the inside, to see what kind of wear happened on the firearm. Overall, I've got to say that for the price that this gun came in, it was about a $300 firearm. There's not a lot to complain about it. There are some little things that I didn't like about the firearm, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But I mean, overall, the shooting experience is actually very positive. 150 rounds is all I put through it today. But one of the biggest things that I could tell right from the get-go was that the recoil was a huge surprise to me, because there really wasn't much recoil at all. For a gun this small, I mean, you can see just how small this grip is in my hand. You wouldn't necessarily think you'd be able to manage the recoil on this gun. But I think the way they designed the frame with this little hump, or the extended hump on the back here, it just really sits in your hand very nicely. The texturing also on the gun, as you see right here, is a very nice texturing. It's a good combination of a very grippy texture and also something that's not overly abrasive for you. Now, obviously, it's only 150 rounds, so I don't know where this gun is going to fit in long-term use. Again, for me, this wouldn't be my primary carry. This would be a backup gun for me, but do I think somebody who's looking at something small and affordable as a potentially as a concealed carry? Yeah, I would think it would be a decent gun. You know, there are little weird things here. You know, they definitely could have used something on the front here of the trigger guard for those people who kind of hold their gun like that. Just to give you a little extra traction there. You know, I don't know why they put it on the frame, but then they didn't put it on there. I think they could have done that. The trigger was fairly light. I didn't really feel any real nasty sluggishness, no metal on metal contact or anything. The trigger was very smooth on the take up and also on the reset. One of the things that I have to say is that even looking on the inside of the gun right here, and I'll hold that for you guys there, you can see already a little bit of that Cerakote coming off just from the friction points of the barrel and the slide. So that's kind of something I would expect to see. I'm not exactly sure how good the Cerakoting job is on this. I mean, exterior-wise, there doesn't seem to be too much use, but again, it's only been 150 rounds, so it's not that much. Now, if I had a big gripe about this firearm, and it's not even just this gun, it's other guns like it. A lot of these guns are advertising that their firearms take Glock sights, because Glocks are obviously the most universal type of firearm in the world. And these are dovetailed and also with the screw set, or the set screw in the front for Glock sights. So I had an old pair of 43X sights, took them, put them on here. And one of the things that I noticed, and I'll just see if I can do it with my finger, which I did, is the dovetail actually, it's not fitting the way I thought it would. And that's kind of a bummer. So the accuracy today wasn't where it needed to be. So I'm actually going to pop these off anyway and put the old sights back on. One of the things I don't like also is the front sight. So again, you can see there's the set screw for the front sight. What I noticed was that the way they cut their frame, or I should say the slide, the part where the guide rod goes into, it sticks out just a little bit too much, because you can't really access that set screw very well. You can't really get a good bite on it, and you can't cinch it down. And because of that, I wasn't able to get this all the way tight. Now, there were no malfunctions created by it, but at the same time, you certainly don't want your front sight flopping around in the wind when you're supposed to be using it for target acquisition. So that's one thing I noticed. Again, if you guys have used sights, let me know what they are, because I would like to have something a little bit more high vis than what came with the firearm. So I'm actually going to pop these off, put the old ones back on, because one of the things I did like that Taurus did was, instead of using a set screw or a screw like that that's like needs a hex, one of the things that they did is they came with a torque screw with kind of like an Allen head to it. So I think that's a little bit better of a way to get in there, because you can use a small Allen key to get in there and not worry about how this comes out. So I'm not sure of any front sights that have that, but I tried to put that screw inside of here. It did not work. So again, if you guys have that information, let me know and leave those comments down below. I mean, overall, I mean, the fit and finish of everything seems to be pretty good. I mean, there seems to be a little bit more barrel wear than I'd like to see out after 150 rounds. So again, I think when you're looking at a budget gun, while the budget gun might look really appealing, and this gun is, I think there's also a trade-off that you're going to have to understand. You know, you may not get the best finish. You might have some issues with, you know, compatibility with certain things that they say you can use, and then you come to find out that maybe it's not necessarily that compatible after all. I think overall, though, this gun is pretty good. I was super surprised, super happy about it, because of the fact that I wasn't really expecting much. And this definitely not only met my expectations, but it actually it actually exceeded my expectations. So if you're looking for a gun and you don't want to pay a lot of money, the Taurus is not a bad choice. Again, long-term shooting will tell if this gun is worth it and has quality pieces in it. But I think right now, just after 150 rounds, the gun, again, worked flawlessly, no issues with it. The magazines were great. Yeah, I'm saying, guys, maybe you need to go out and buy one of these GX4s if you're looking for a small, cheap, concealable firearm that's going to do what you need it to do. So leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You know, the recoil, again, I think was the biggest selling point on this gun for me because it was so small. I was expecting it to be a little bit more snappy, and this gun did not feel snappy in the least bit. So leave some comments down below. Hope you appreciate the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share, do whatever it is that you do in the universe, and watch the channel grow. So I hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe, and as always, freedom is never free.